Good morning and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. I'm Larry Kallevig, founder and CEO of the Haven Financial Group, and we appreciate you listening this morning. If anything resonates, if you have any questions, either today, during the week, feel free to give us a call at 612-504-8400. Visit us online at havenfinancialgroup.com. All kinds of retirement tools, calendar of all our educational events. Kim, good to be with you again, Kim. Lot to talk about, like we always do, as it relates to retirement.
Yes. Well, it's great to be with you. And here we are already in the month of May. That's hard to believe. So time is passing very quickly. So if you're somebody who's listening and you keep thinking, well, I've got plenty of time to get started or to give Haven Financial Group a call, look how quickly 2026 is already flying by. So maybe this is the time to give them a call if you're thinking about putting together a portfolio for retirement. 612-504-8400 is the number. If you hear anything during the course of this show that resonates, or if you're just looking again, as we said, to start thinking about putting together that portfolio, be sure you give them a call. We want to talk about retirement in the world today, which is tricky, Larry. I mean, it's always tricky. This, planning for retirement is tricky for everyone, and everyone's retirements are different. But boy, we're seeing so much, constant change with the economy, and a lot of rule changes and laws are changing. So we thought this was the perfect time to talk a little bit more about how to be stable even in a world that's ever changing. We're going to start with consistency and stability when it comes to retirement. Then we'll talk about retirement beyond Social Security. We'll talk a little bit about the history of Social Security and really what the purpose of Social Security is. And then finally, 8 mistakes to avoid when you are transitioning into retirement. Would you say that these are particularly tricky times for retirement, or would you agree all times are a bit tricky?
Well, I would say all times are tricky. It's just we live in the moment, and it may seem like it is, and maybe it is, but I deal with this so often, I guess I probably kind of callous to it all. When we're younger and you got 20, 30 years out from retirement, I got so much time. All I got is time. And then all of a sudden you look in the rearview mirror and go, oh my goodness, here I am. There's no better time than the moment to get started on some sort of plan, whatever that means for you. So you are ready, so you can protect against downside market risk. You're not forced to try to play catch up, which a lot of us are. And we want to create as much stability in our day-to-day life and in our finances as possible. And that's the stuff we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. So let's get started. There's a few things out there in the world that maybe people don't want you to know when it comes to planning for retirement. One of those being accumulation annuities. And we want to talk a little bit more about that. Annuities as a whole. And again, we're talking about consistency and stability when it comes to retirement. Annuities can be certainly a tool that can help with consistency and stability. Yes?
Yes, they can be. They don't have to be. Everybody's different, which leads us right into me inviting the listeners out to our office for our education center, May 7th, Wine, Cheese, and Retirement Ease. And the topic is the truth about annuities. So we'd love to have you, because the fact is many people don't know the truth about annuities. Many get sold a bill of goods. They're not for everybody. They can be used for a variety of reasons, which we're going to touch on, from guaranteed income to accumulation, more of a bond replacement, can be used for long-term care. So again, they can provide some financial security. And I always like to say, we all want to win, but defense wins championships. You spend all those years accumulating, and protection comes into play more than ever as you get close to the end game, close to retirement. How do you protect it? Through some sort of principal protected type of investment. Creating good diversification against different asset classes, preparing for market volatility. And, observation that I've seen for years is many folks go into retirement with very little liquid monies and everything at risk in the stock market. Now, I'll preface the conversation by saying, I have an investment team of 12. We manage with Fidelity and Charles Schwab. There's other good platforms. We like the stock market. But maybe as you get closer to retirement, taking the foot off the gas pedal, creating more balance along your liquid monies, protected monies, and stock market, maybe that better positions you. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe that would be worthy of sitting down and talking through, which we do every week, helping people understand, your portfolio is a little lopsided. We may want to tend to it now when the markets are still high rather than get all bothered by it when the markets aren't so good.
Sure. So what you're talking about is 5 years out, you really want to start thinking about how to protect your wealth as you're headed toward retirement.
Yeah, wealth protection allows for better long-term financial planning, ensuring that there'll be sufficient funds there in retirement. And, that means different things to different people because we have clients at Haven Financial Group that have no risk in the market. They don't want the risk in the market. And pretty much all of their funds are stable. And that's what they want. And it works. We have those that have the risk of the market. They're okay with it. They handle it just fine. But what's a good balance isn't the same for everybody. So it starts with a conversation with us, the same process that we take everybody through, getting a good understanding of what your goals and aspirations, what are you looking to do? And in that portfolio, when we touch on this, sometimes we think the annuity comes out, but again, understanding what type of the 4 annuities. Yeah, there's 4. 2 of them are very different than the other 2. 2 of them start with the word fixed. Another one starts with immediate, and another one starts with a variable. They're very different. And oftentimes people get put in the wrong ones, and with high fees, they get stuck and they can't even get out of them. I call this annuity x-ray, get an annuity exam to find out, are you in some of these? Why are you in them? And if there's something to do, great, but they can be used really, really well for principal protection. Problem is 2 of them don't offer that.
Okay. So which 2 do offer it, Larry?
The fixed and fixed index. The fixed is just like a bank CD, but all annuities are through insurance companies. Fixed index, while there's some really good ones out there, you're always going to give up something. On the fixed, you're giving up some of the upside of the market, but you have no downside. Variable annuities are exactly what the first word says. Variable, up and down. Okay. Typically, they carry anywhere from 1% to 5% in fees. Well, the fixed index that we use in a client's portfolio, if appropriate, because not everybody, you don't have to have them, is more of a bond replacement for accumulation, or maybe you won't have a pension. Maybe you want to use an annuity for income payments. Problem is most people are in the wrong ones, which is why I'm teaching this class. And again, sometimes you're able to change it and fix it. Other times you're stuck. But I would think you'd want to know that now rather than find out later, because an annuity is a contract. Some may say it's written in a foreign language that we can't understand. And I don't disagree with that. But if you get some clarification, now you might have a better understanding of what they put you in.
Well, and I think when you speak of annuities in those terms, it explains why you hope people get an education. Because when you sign a contract, then most of the time you're in that contract. And if you didn't understand the language, then you're still bound by it.
You are. And oftentimes you can't get out. I just had a gentleman that was in this past week, did a great, he's saved for retirement, but somebody decided to put him in a fixed index annuity for income. Now, mind you, he's got plenty of Social Security. He's got a pension. He doesn't need any more income. Now, for some, that would be the opposite. They might need income. He was put in the wrong thing. Statistics show that majority will never use that income rider, which, by the way, rider usually means fee. So it's frustrating to see folks, get put into something that isn't appropriate. And I understand why. It's unfortunate, but there are folks out there, and it's okay, that only have annuities in their toolbox. Well, if the only thing they have in their toolbox is an annuity, what do you think they're going to try to sell you? Well, they're not for everybody. Okay. Are they for you? I have no idea, but they can be part for many of an effective, diversified portfolio.
Okay. So if you're someone who is thinking about consistency and stability in retirement, maybe you're 5 years out, it's time for you to start looking at ways to protect your monies so that when that time comes for you to step away from your job and start to begin those golden years, you are set. And maybe annuities are something that you're thinking about, but you're not sure if you understand them fully, which ones might be right for you or if they're right for you at all. I've laid a lot out there, but these are all questions that can be answered by you, Larry.
Yes, and I'll tell you what. We've seen some very strong ones that clients have been in for the last year. The market's been good. It's tied to the stock market, some sort of measuring like the S&P or something. I get annual statements for all our clients, and I saw multiple 6 to 13% returns in them this past week.
Wow.
These are not designed to get that kind of growth, but these are easy conversations to have after a year saying, that fixed index annuity that we said 3 to 5% is a kind of an average. And you made, as one couple of my clients were in this past week, you made about 6 to 13%. And they're like, oh my goodness. Now, mind you, their Schwab portfolio they had with us was like 16 to 17. But you have the risk of the market there. See how that can make sense for a portion of your portfolio if you don't want to gamble in the market with all of it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stability is what we're talking about here. 612-504-8400. That's how you reach the folks at Haven Financial Group. Another quick reminder, there is going to be a learning session on annuities, and that's coming up May the 7th, correct, Larry? And you can get more details at havenfinancialgroup.com. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, retirement beyond Social Security. We'll talk a little bit more about that. You're listening to the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.